Hi everyone. So whether you're listening to this on the restream or you're listening to this live, please do make a comment and let me know what you want to see. This channel is dedicated to helping you to improve your game, take it to the next level, to have all the resources, all the tools that you need outside of your physical football training to really take your game to the next level. And you'll see already I'm starting to add more sessions onto the channel, visualizations, meditations, interactive training visualizations. There's already one on there, but there's lots more of those to come. As you probably have seen, I haven't added much in the last week or so. Big reason for that is you might hear from the voice. I'm not particularly feeling well. Actually, I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling absolutely fine at the moment, but the voice is awful. So hopefully that will come back. But I want to know what you guys want to see. So I did a session a little while ago, a visualization on, and if you want to know why these work so effectively and why they will help you to improve your game. I mean, I work with Premier League football players. I work with players in the Champions League, in the Champions League. I've just taken on a player that I'm about to work with from Serie A as well. So, you know, it's the work that I do in this kind of thing around visualization, interactive training visualizations. It's incredibly effective at helping you to take your game to the next level and beyond. It's not fluffy. It is how this brain of ours works and operates. When we physically do something, when we physically do it, what we're doing is we are creating and strengthening neural pathways in our brain. You visualize doing it, so you visualize shooting, passing, interacting with different players or different patterns of play. You're strengthening the same neural pathways in the brain to make it more effective. Now, how amazing is that? You don't have to be on the training pitch. You can do this not instead of, but in addition. So you can start accelerating your development. What you'll also see is recently I've done a Become Iniesta and a Become Sergio Ramos, so a midfielder one and a centre back one there. And again, this is about thinking about how they play and how you might incorporate their play into your game, visualizing it, seeing it happen. Again, there's nothing fluffy about this. You got great coaches when you go out to your training sessions, but why not be coached by Ramos and Iniesta, by seeing what they do and replicating that in your thoughts and your mind? And why did I do the Ramos one? Why did I do the Iniesta one? Because someone commented in separate comments, could you do one on Ramos? Could you do one on Iniesta? Now, this is why I'm saying this channel, I work with top players, but this channel is an opportunity when I do these live streams to interact with me, but it's also a chance to put in the comments, who do you want to see? What do you want to improve upon? Now, I did one, I think the most recent one was a pre-match visualization. So taking into all the things that we might want to incorporate into getting you prepared and ready for the game, harnessing nerves so they become an asset rather than something that you're worried about. That's part of that visualization. So again, it's a brilliant resource. It doesn't cost anything. It's absolutely free to use. Now, where else are you getting this? So, you know, access to myself. I mean, that probably makes me sound a bit arrogant, but you know, I do work with these top players, and you get an opportunity here to interact with me. So please do, like I said, comment. Tell me what you want to see. And I know it was quite short notice, but what I do plan on doing in the future is a lot more of these live streams. But what I'll do is I'll give you more of a heads up, so you'll get more of an idea about, right, you know, Tuesday 4 o'clock, boom, we're going live, and you'll have an opportunity before that to put in any questions, anything you want me to answer on the live. Obviously, the people that are on the live who are there asking questions will get priority. But I'll answer any of your questions that you've got, help you to improve your game and develop. And please do like and subscribe as well. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel. That really does help to support my channel. And the more likes, subscriptions that I get to the channel, it helps it to grow. And it gives me that reason then obviously to stick around and produce more content for you guys. But yeah, I'd like to know what topics as well. Again, you know, like I said, if you're watching this on the rerun, let me know. But what are you struggling with your game? Or what successes are you seeing within your game right now? Who was it? There was a guy, Charlie, that did a live stream a little while ago. Hopefully this is a little bit more professional now. I'm trying to get this looking good, sounding a bit better. But I did a live stream a little while ago, and there was a guy called Charlie. In fact, this was through it on Instagram. So it seemed to have garnered a lot more viewers then, and I'll probably do the same soon. Going live probably on both. Oh, I am missing. I think I can actually make this come up on the screen. There we go. Okay, so obviously the whole message hasn't come up on the screen there, but Jeff, thank you for your message. And so you're not obviously seeing what I'm seeing, but I've got the comment that I can see is is white on a light green background, so I can hardly see it, so bear with me. He says, my son plays pro youth football but struggles when the going gets tough. Okay, cool. So I mean, there can be all kinds of reasons for that. We kind of need to know we don't need to know the background of it really, but you know, in what situations? Is it pre-game? Is it post-game? Or is it during the game? Is it when he comes up against teams where he's expected to do well, or teams where he's expected not, or players that he's not expected to do well? But really, it boils down a little bit to how this brain of ours works, and there's no quick wins. But what there is there's conditioning that we can do around this. So Jeff, with your son, and really this is for anyone really. The way I work with the pro players that I work with, and even with my book Use Your Brain, Raise Your Game, I talk about two brains and a performance state. So you've got your red brain, green brain, and blue performance state. And the way this works is your red brain is that survival mechanism inside your brain, terrible for life in general, terrible for life off the pitch, life on the pitch as well, when it's in control. So this will be things such as when your thinking starts overthinking, and this will be probably, you know, when the going gets tough, he overthinks, thinks the worst case scenario maybe, or this is what that red brain does. And really what we're looking at here, this isn't just football, this is life. You know, this is the red brain is there for survival, always looking for the negative. And the reason why it does that, if you think prehistoric times, you walk down the street or the dusty road, there's a rustling in the bush, you're a positive person, you're like, oh, you know, I'm sure it's just wind and I'll be absolutely fine. You're the meal for the beast that's lying in wait. If you're negative and you're worried and, oh my god, it could be a saber-toothed tiger, and you run off and it's just a bit of wind, you might feel a bit foolish. You might have a raised heart rate and feel awful when you didn't need to, but you're alive. And that's how that red brain works, and why it's there. So when our stress levels go up on a football pitch, our red brain thinks survival, negative, right? Where's the problem? Where are the difficulties? Rather than where are the opportunities? Where can I thrive on this football pitch? How do I dominate? It's like, well, I don't like this. So they're the two brains at work. But when we talk about the red brain and the green brain, this green brain is brilliant for off the pitch. It's relaxed, it's confident, it's positive in its thinking. But when we're on the pitch, we actually do want some red brain involvement. So think of when you said he struggles when it's going gets tough, because he's probably stress levels go up, or self-doubt go up, or anxiety go up. Actually, the blue performance state is when the red brain goes up, and you have those feelings, but it's never in control. When it goes up and we let it run away with us, negative thinking, overthinking, what if I do this, what if I mess up, your game's gone. But let that anxiety build, but respond to it on the football pitch with looking for opportunities, literally just changing the way you think and you focus. Where are the opportunities for me to thrive? Where can I do this? Where can I do that? Right, what can I do there? Even if you look at the stress that's going up and you feel uncomfortable, if you look at that and recognize that and think of it differently, then I don't like the way I feel, I don't like that. Think of it differently, like, this is my stress levels going up, this is the red brain, this is good for me when I harness it, because anxiety becomes focus, high energy, switched on. Even if you have, some players feel anger from the red brain. Anger will destroy your game in its raw form. And lots of people say, but anger fuels my game. It can fuel your game if your green brain is controlling it. So red brain goes up with anger, green brain, okay, opportunities, focus, and looking upon that anger as, this is fueling me. What do I need to look for now? And we look upon it differently. Now we go into that blue performance state. None of this is fluffy. None of it is wishy-washy. It's how our brains work. Red brain, if we just think a certain way, blood and electrical impulses are going to your amygdala in your brain. We think not just positively, but solution focused. Where are my opportunities? What can I do? Who's around me that can offer me support? All these kind of things. The blood and electrical signals go to different parts of the brain. So when it comes to this kind of stuff, what we're looking at here is not just thinking, well, I know from what we've just talked about now how to do this. It doesn't matter. Knowledge is nice. Not knowing something is terrible. If your son now knows, well, actually, I know I need to get my green brain in control to go into that blue performance state, that's great. That's the next rung. The next rung that is tenfold on this is conditioning it. So now we know it, let's put it into practice over and over and over again on the pitch, when you're training, visualizing, all this. And as I've said before, the way that our brains work is when we learn something and we improve, what's happening is inside our brain, we have neural pathways. When they're not connected, it doesn't work. When they are connected and you have a slight connection with them, it's okay. This could be the knowledge, but then when you grow it and you strengthen it and those neural pathways become strong and established, that's when the magic happens. That's when your son's on the pitch and it comes on top. But his natural reaction is not red brain biased, it's now green brain biased. Yep. So he gets someone goes through him and knocks him down, which would usually think, oh, I don't fancy this, or he's made a couple of mistakes in a row, or I'm not having a good game, and he's starting to overthink and dwell on it and starting to see the opponents as bigger, stronger, faster, better. Now that happens, and it's like, right, that's going to fuel me. Now I'm in a better place. Yep. I feel like I almost needed that challenge, or, I'm glad I've got a challenge today. I don't want this to be easy because I thrive on I thrive on this brilliant competition. So when I work with some of my players, you know, they go into the game and we look upon what is a weak approach and what's a strong approach. Now, most people's approaches. So you imagine a Premier League player. Let's take someone I don't work with. So let's take a player. Let's say, oh my goodness, let me think. A midfielder. Let me think. Let's take Cole Palmer. Yep. So let's imagine Cole Palmer goes into his next game. Maybe they're playing against. I don't know, just pull it out of the hat. You think of all the Premier League players, and I can't think right now on the spot. But you take Cole Palmer. Maybe he's playing up against Declan Rice. Cole Palmer against Declan Rice, and he goes into that game, and Cole Palmer, in the back of his mind, he's just hoping Declan Rice isn't on his game a little bit. It's just a part of the way that he's thinking. Well, actually, that way of thinking is negative. That way of thinking is unconfident. That way of thinking is kind of quite normal. A lot of players go on, do you know, in the back of their mind, I want to have a great game. I hope they're not really on their game. My players will go into the game saying, he better be on his game today. I am going to be off if he's not on his game. I need a challenge. I need him to work me. I need this. When they're having that response, think of the difference. Think of what do I do if you can imagine there's somebody over there thinking to themselves, they're out of shot, they're going into the game, and they're thinking, I hope my opponent's not having a good game. I hope they're not. Think of their body language. Now you think of that guy walking on the pitch, and he's thinking to himself, that my opponent better be on his game. My opponent better challenge me to my very limits today. I thrive on challenges. You think of the difference in his body language, the way of thinking. And why? Because that way of thinking, yes, it gets the green brain in control and goes in that big performance state, but actually you're releasing a ton of hormones and neurotransmitters in your brain, like testosterone and adrenaline and norepinephrine, all these things that are performance enhancing. So I hope that helps. I need to make sure that these things come up a little bit more, but I mean, you can kind of see them on the screen. Let me have a quick look at that. I need to change the color, like I said. White. Oh, hang on. If I go over it, hover over it, it turns grey. That's good. Hello, how you doing? I had a question. I actually feel lost in football, like I'm playing bad. I'm not getting good. I don't know when even I am going to do. Have you anything that you can bring back on track? You know, it's quite a big. Again, you know, when we talk about these things, there can be a whole wealth of issues or things that we could really focus in and concentrate on. But if we talk quite broadly there, there's a few things. I mean, that strikes me as a bit of self-belief, a big amount of self-belief. So what's your name? It's Getsuga, just saying that he feels lost in football, like playing bad. Yeah, this whole thing around self-belief, confidence, even self-esteem. It's not a quick win, but what we've got to be doing is looking at fueling that green brain. Always looking at fueling that green brain and keeping that red brain at bay. But one of the things that we can look upon as well here is that when you say you feel lost in football, one of the things, again, it goes back to this prehistoric kind of thing. So where our self-esteem go back, say, thousands of years ago, self-esteem was all around survival. Again, everything's all around survival. Confidence, self-esteem, anxiety, anger, it's all around our primitive brain and survival. But self-esteem is around how much of a part of the group do we feel? How much of a part of the So if you imagine going back 1,000 years ago, you were part of a community, your village. Now, if you're part of like different teams, etc. If you don't want to be part of one team, you're in a great place. You're just like, you know what, I'm going to be part of another group. Back thousands of years ago, you didn't have that option. You had your village. If your village didn't like you and wanted you out, you would then leave that village, and it wouldn't be like, oh, I'll go and find somewhere else. You're dead, really. There's nothing you can do now. You're banished from the group. Your survival will not happen because you don't have the people around you, and you don't have the strength in numbers, the ability to build with lots of people around you. So yeah, back then your life is over if that's the case. So where I'm going with this is that in today's society, when we don't feel a part of the group, or we don't feel an integral part of the group, our self-esteem, that feeling of self-esteem goes down. That reduces confidence, or that reduces performance, etc. So a really nice quick win, but something that you can do to build up that belief and that self-esteem within you, is to be a bigger part of the group. And that doesn't mean you need to go and be the big person within the group. It means that you need to be of value to that group. So if you, in your case, and I don't know what the situation is, but within your team, you can be a person of value by supporting others within the team. Be that that person who lifts people, that is positive, that picks people up. That makes you a more valued part of that community. And that, when you feel like you're a more valued part of the community, your self-esteem will go up. And when your self-esteem goes up, your confidence goes up. When your confidence goes up, the neurotransmitters in your brain, the hormones, all those performance-enhancing chemicals will also go up. And by doing this, you'll find that you'll feel more valuable. You won't feel as lost. If this is, one of the things that if unless you're feeling the most valued you possibly could be, this will help. But without knowing the ins and outs, it's very difficult around to give you a real precise answer to that. But I hope that helps. Jeff responded. That was brilliant. Thank you. So simple, but so true. When you think of it, thanks for that. I will let him to re-listen to this. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. And it is, all this is so simple. Everything that I do with, top Premier League players is so simple. But at the end of the day, the reason why it's so simple but we don't do it is because none of us were born with a user manual to how this brain of ours works. Everything I do really has a crossover into life in general. So, like I was talking about the self-esteem issue there, we're talking about self-doubt, the overthinking. Yeah, it's on a football pitch, but this is at school. This is in the workplace. This is in life in general. So it's this brain of ours is exceptional. It is incredible. It is the thing that will make you excel, take your life to the next level, become, everything that you ever wanted to be. But it can also do everything to the opposite of that. It will make you a shadow of yourself. But wherever you are in life, always remember that it's just a chapter. It's just a chapter of the book. And, I always say this, certainly on when it comes to mental health, I'm really going off on a tangent now, and nothing about what any of us are talking about here, but there's something on Mental Health Day, just because we're talking about how bad that brain can be. People who are at the very, very lowest of their lives, what we need to remember is wherever you are, that is a chapter of the book. If you take any film, it follows these ups and downs, or any book, it follows these ups and downs. There will always be in the book in the film a lowest point. That's not ever where that book ends or the movie ends. You find that that comes back. Some people do end things there, very deep. But just, this is really important stuff. Where's the chapter? Where's the next chapter? Where's the chapter after that? It might stay there for a few chapters, who knows? But you're missing out on so much if you don't allow those future chapters come back. They're very deep. But anyway, I hope that will resonate with somebody who listens to that, I promise you. Gatsuga said, thanks a lot. Kind of gives me something to start working on. Yeah, to be fair, Gatsuga, and I appreciate the kind words. Was it a great answer? Probably not. But what we've got to be looking at here is there's no quick wins. If you look at my channel and the guided meditations, the guided visualizations, the interactive training visualizations, these will be sessions here, and there'll be ones that I produce in the future where you can utilize these to condition to improve. I don't know how sensitive that mic is. Hopefully it's not too sensitive, because maybe I didn't pick that up. Disgusting. Apologies. But yes, what we're talking about here is, even if I said do this, and this, yeah, great, you got the knowledge, but conditioning it, that is where the magic really. Sorry, lost signal there. But yeah, that is where the signal, that is where the magic really happens. Conditioning. Okay, Jeff said, yeah, he's a massive overthinker. We've started doing visualization. Used to not start games well, but is much better. It's just when things aren't going well, he struggles. He's a perfectionist. Yeah, okay, cool. So, there's a few things to unwrap there. The fact that he didn't used to start games well, but now he does. Again, that probably tied in with the overthinking. And you would be surprised the number of Premier League players that I start working with, and so many of them. And if they're thinking this, there'll be so many people who listen to this who will think this as well. When you go into a game, so many of these players will think themselves, I know, and they'll say this to me, look, I know, Mark, if I have a good start to the game, if my first touch is good, I know that I have a good game. But on the flip side, I know if I have a bad first touch, I'll have a bad game. It's just how it happens. And this is like this. Right, okay, brilliant. We've got so much to work on here straight away, because that is how this brain works. If you're thinking to yourself, I think it was Henry Ford that once said, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can, you can't. And the reason for this is because the brain, if you have a bad first touch and you think to yourself, I'm going to have a really bad game now, all your brain is focused on is going red brain. It wants to validate what it's thinking. Show me the reasons why I'm going to have a bad game. Again, it comes down to different parts of your brain. The reticular activating cortex is looking for things that you're focusing on. Again, we're not going to go into that. Another long thing to go into. But this overthinking, what we need to be doing is going into that game thinking, if my first touch is good, I am going to have a great game. If my first touch is bad, I am going to have a great game. No matter what happens, I will respond brilliantly to everything and anything that comes in my way. When we're thinking that way, it's not fluffy. How many times I'll say that? I will say it over and over again. It's different physical reactions that happen inside your brain when you go for one or the other. But I'm loving the fact that he's doing that. But there's, if we take that example, we can replicate that across the pitch. So if he says, When things aren't going well, he struggles. Fine. If we take that red brain as we will never beat that red brain. So if something comes on top, if you make a bad challenge, if you make a mistake in the game, the red brain will always beat. You never will beat that red brain. That red brain will always, have these reactions and everything. That is fine. That is fine. It's the seconds after that. It's the response after that. The red brain will always kick in a gear. But now, the thing that separates us from animals, if you take an animal has to react to what happens. So, for example, a lion chases it and it will think negatively and it will run. Yep. The difference being with an animal and the way that we operate is when the lion is out of the picture, the animal goes back to eating, chilling out, doing whatever it does. It's got a basic human brain, a basic animal brain. What we have is an incredibly advanced brain, which is amazing, but is also terrible. Because if you put a human brain inside that antelope, say, what happens now is the lion chases that antelope. The antelope, red brain, don't want this at all, running away, gets away from the lion. The lion now is off, but the problem being this animal now has a human brain, and it starts thinking, God, imagine if that lion caught me, if this lion did this, if the lion did that, oh my God. Overthink, and all of a sudden now, stress, burn out energy-wise in the brain and body, and really bad. And that's how we operate. So we have much bigger advantages over animals, but we utilize it because we haven't got a brain manual. We utilize it in a way that destroys our game. So I keep looking at the time because I've got a player at 3:00. But yes, so where was I going with that? Yeah, so we just need to know this and we need to condition it. What we need to know is that when we have that reaction, we need to know the red brain reaction is something that can potentially give us that hit of adrenaline. I'm frustrated, I'm annoyed. Okay, utilize this frustration. Right, what next? And then we have to think about progressive. Where are we going to go in our next movement and get back into the game? So actually making a mistake can fuel us. Doing something wrong, getting tackled, getting this, it can fuel us, but only if we take that initial red brain reaction and we respond with some solution focused thinking, or we respond to focusing on what we want to have, what our game plan is, what our what I call it, our game blueprint. Get back to that, and we can fly. So it's again, it's huge, absolutely huge. Okay, Getsuga, and I'm in an academy with a team. I am on sub. I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. How should I master the basics like passing, dribbling, relationship with the ball? If I could click my fingers there and say, just take a pill, do this, or do this one thing and this will make you the best player. I mean, if you see a lot of YouTube videos, do this one thing and it will change your game or change your passing. This is about training and conditioning. So, how do you master the basics like passing and dribbling and your relationship with the ball? You practice physically. But again, this is where this visualization can come in. Now, we're not, and this is where I have a difference between visualization from what some people will use, but I use it very structured. So visualization for me is not visualizing being the best player in the world, visualizing winning the Ballon d'Or, visualize that can give you a bit of motivation. But what I'm talking about is a proper structured visualization. So you'll be sitting upright in your seat and you imagine you've spent an hour in training doing the basics. Now you're at home and you're going to spend another 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and you're going to imagine going through the drills of what you did. You relationship with the ball, as you say, the passing, the receiving, interacting with your teammates in terms of that passing, that shooting. You know, we know how this brain of ours works now. You are advancing your game quicker. And if I was you, what I would do is have time every single day where you allot time, say every day at 4 p.m. when I get home from school, or 6 p.m. when I come home from work, whatever it is, you think, right, that 20 minutes, I sit down, not lie down, not fall asleep and relax. I sit down in a structured place and I focus my attention, close my eyes, but be there in that moment, shooting, okay, interacting, thinking about my patterns of play maybe on the pitch, thinking about my interactions with certain players. Now, this over and over again is incredibly beneficial. And what we're talking about as well here is not thinking, yeah, really up for doing that, and you do it today, you don't do it again. This is why we structure it into the day. You do it every single day. And now not only do you get up to speed with those players around you, but now once you hit that, they're training once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week. You're doing that as well, but you're also training on top of that, where you're not risking injury and burnout and heavier, too much of a load or anything like that. What you're doing now is you're adding training session upon training session with visualization, where there are no additional loads, there are no additional risk of, injury or burnout, just pure extra training sessions, and utilize some of my guided ones, and we can actually be looking at different players or different aspects of your game, different issues there. But yeah, thanks guys. Appreciate the both of you interacting on that. Hopefully I've given you, some good things to go forward with, especially your son as well, Jeff. But yeah, this is something that I'm going to be doing, like I said, a lot more regularly now. And not only am I going to do it more regularly, but I'll make sure that I put up the thumbnail and let you guys know in advance. What I might even do is put together a what's it called, like an email list or something, even a WhatsApp. There you go, maybe a WhatsApp broadcast list or something, so I let people know when I'm going live, and people can even put their questions to me before I go live, and I can answer them on the live stream. So even if they don't get onto you guys don't get onto the live stream, you can watch it at a later date and still get the benefits of it. But yeah, hope, and let me know how the audio is and everything, because it's a very new setup for me now. You'll see the background's a little bit different, but I think I'm going to call that a day. I've got a player in